How's she going, boys? Mike here, welcome back to Grampie's workshop. The rain let up a little, which it's kind of a mixed blessing because it's nice to get the rain, things being so dry. We're going to try and start setting some roof trusses up here today, so buckle up. So I measured my wall from the top of this plate to the top of that plate. Remember, I measured that was 121 inches. So I have this bird's mouth set right on there, right, the way it should be. But now up here, this wall, it's 122 inches apart. So this side here where I measured was 121, but this one's 122. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to get my chain falls again. I'm going to try and pull that wall together a little bit, see what happens. Man, oh man. I knew when the building wasn't square that it wasn't going to go together well. And this is just the start. This is the first truss. Go put the chain, the come along on this side, and then we'll hook them together. We'll see how I make a note. I'm using my trusty level here. I can't pull that wall in any further on the right hand side here. It appears that the wall is racked this way, right? So that means the diagonal from this top right hand corner to the bottom left is longer than the diagonal from the top left to the bottom right. So what I'm going to try and do is, because I have a good anchor point up there, I'd like to pull that wall in a little bit, make that roof truss fit, but I have to try to rack the wall to the left. So I'm going to try and build an anchor point down in the bottom left hand corner here, and then see if I can crank the wall over that way. That's all I can do. Try it, see. So I got it rigged. Now all I have to do is crank on it for an hour. See what happens. My anchor point on the lower left side is not great. So this doesn't appear to be working. Big surprise there, eh? Back to the drawing board. Hey, we're back at the boathouse again today. I worked on it yesterday trying to get it re-squared and re-plumbed. I just won't give up on this. I know that I'm not going to get it perfect, but I can't leave it like this. It's just, my OCD is kicking in. Anyways, what I'm doing here today is I took all the roof rafters down to measure them again. This truss on the top, that was the first one I made, and I made the pattern from that to make the rest of them. So put this block of wood in here, line up all the bird's mouths on the long leg side, so they're all tight there. But look, when I come over here, the tops are all lined up fairly decent, but here's the telltale. Look at that. I don't know, what is that, 3/8 of an inch. So I've been trying to make rafters that are too, what do you call it, too tight, too small to fit. So no matter how plumb I get the walls, still won't fit. So what I'm going to do today is, I've made an executive decision. I'm going to cut out, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch on each one of them, except this top one. That should work good, because if you check here, from this edge of the bird's mouth, which is going to go up against the vertical wall, out to the end of the tail, it's the same. The tails all line up, so just the bird mouth is in the wrong position. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to gear up and cut the bird's mouths bigger. So even though now I understand why my roof rafters don't fit on the building, I still am not giving up on trying to get the building a little bit more plumb and square. So what I've set up here is, I've got the old Massey GC2300 with my logging winch, my homemade logging winch, and I've got a line from there up to a piece of chain where I fasten my new anchor point on the top of that wall, because that top of the boathouse has to go towards the tractor. So now I'm going to try to start that winch, see if we can pull it over, and I'm going to get my level, my new level, and watch the wall and see what happens. So. There's no joy in Mudville. No, she's not moving it. In fact, what's happening is it's pulling the tractor towards the building instead of pulling the building towards the tractor. But I have another idea. So here's my last effort trying to square plumb the house, the boathouse. Check this out. This corner here that we're looking at, it's the back corner closest to the lake, and then this corner is on the front wall closest to the camp. And what I've discovered is that this distance is too long compared to the other angle. So if you do your geometry, you know that in order to get a square, those two diagonals, they have to be the same length. So I set my come along up here to try to pull the building together at the top. Yeah, here we go. Check this out. Squeezing the walls is hard, eh? Like, it takes a lot of force to squeeze them together. And even though I have my anchor points set there good, I don't want to overstress them. So I'm going to try and bang on the corners a little bit to see if I can help it. Maybe just chalk it, you know, and maybe it'll come together. We'll see. I don't know if that helped or not, but I'm going to try and measure the diagonals now, see what happens. Well, I measured the diagonals. It was hard to get it on camera, so I just did it off camera, but they both measure 197 inches. So that's good. It looks like this rig that I set up here worked. But the front wall of the boathouse is tipped to the right. It needs to go to the left. So I'm not sure how I can accomplish that, but anyway, at least we got our square at the top. So I've been struggling and working on this boathouse now for quite a little while. I had my sons working on it too, and I've come to the realization that this is probably as plumb and true and square as I'm going to get it. So I'm going to call it. This is it. You know, a lot of people, myself included there for a while, was thinking, what a waste of time trying to get that building square. It's only a boathouse after all, and it's not that critical. But that's not the point. I was trying to get an understanding of what was wrong with it, why it wasn't square, why it wasn't plumb. My floor is level, my top plates are level. The only thing I can figure is that that wall must have been crooked right from the giddy up go, but I find that hard to believe because when I built it, I made everything square. But I don't know. So this is it. This is square and plumb as it's going to get. Now I'm going to go to work and attack those roof trusses, cut out those birds' mouths like I mentioned earlier, and I don't know what happened there because I put my form here on the floor of the boathouse. I laid out the first one in there and cut it. It fit good, but the rest of them, they don't go. But anyway, I could spend another week trying to figure that out. But I think I'm finished figuring. I'm going to start building now.